Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a really common and honestly incredibly destructive type of fraud, the pyramid scheme. And let's just jump right in with how they usually get started. It almost always kicks off with a promise, right? A promise that just sounds a little too good to be true. Back in 2004, a company called Vemma Nutrition made this exact pitch. They put out this open invitation for absolutely anyone, no experience needed, to totally transform their financial future.
And getting started? Oh, it was deceptively simple. All you had to do was buy a starter kit of their nutritional products. We're talking $500 to $600. And then just convince two other people to do the exact same thing. That's it. That was the game.
And you know what? This simple little model absolutely exploded. The company grew at this unbelievable rate, becoming a global operation that, at its height, was signing up 30,000 new members every single month. By 2013, all that crazy growth had turned into some seriously massive numbers. Vemma was pulling in $200 million in annual revenue. I mean, from the outside looking in, it was a total runaway success story.
But here's the catch. Behind all those flashy revenue numbers was a much, much darker reality. The overwhelming majority of people who joined, the ones pouring their own money and their hopes into this system, they were actually losing it all. Vemma was eventually charged with running a classic pyramid scheme, and their story really gives us the perfect textbook definition.
So, let's get down to it. What exactly is a pyramid scheme? Well, it's a fraudulent structure where the main way you make money isn't really by selling a product. It's by recruiting more people into the system. And the money from those newest recruits gets funneled right up to the top to pay the people who got in earlier. Now, it's really important here to separate this from another famous fraud you've probably heard of, the Ponzi scheme. In a pyramid scheme, the members are in on it. They know that recruiting is the name of the game. But in a Ponzi scheme, the investors are totally in the dark. They think their profits are coming from some brilliant, legitimate investment, when really it's just new investors' money being passed off as profit. But this brings up a huge question. If these schemes are all about recruiting, why are they absolutely 100% guaranteed to collapse? The answer has nothing to do with business strategy or market trends. It's just pure, cold, hard math. Let's just play this out. Look at a simple model where every person has to recruit 6 other people. So the founder gets 6. That second level now needs 36 new people. The third level, 216. Because the number of people you need grows exponentially, it just spirals out of control so fast. By the time you get to just the 13th level, the scheme would need to recruit more people than are alive on the entire planet. It's literally impossible. And this, right here, this shows you the brutal, unavoidable outcome. In a model like this, the newest recruits at the bottom, that's over 80% of everyone involved, are mathematically guaranteed to lose every single penny they put in. The money's gone before they even have a fighting chance. So you're probably thinking, okay, this is so obviously a scam, it has to be illegal. And you're right, it is in most countries, but they're still around because, well, there are masters of disguise. They hide in plain sight. They call themselves things that sound harmless or even kind of positive, like gifting groups or investment clubs. But the most common and, frankly, most effective disguise out there is the multi-level marketing business, or MLM. Now, in theory, on paper, the line between a legal MLM and an illegal pyramid scheme seems pretty clear. A legitimate MLM is focused on selling a real product to actual customers. A pyramid scheme, on the other hand, is really just focused on paying people for recruiting new sellers. But in the real world, that line gets so blurry. Schemes like Vemma use a product as a smokescreen, making it almost impossible for anyone to actually make a profit just from sales. The product is just there to hide the real engine of the fraud, which is that relentless pay and recruit structure. So, if the math is a dead end and the business model is just a facade, it all leads to the biggest, most important question of all. Why do so many people fall for this? And this is where we have to step away from the numbers and look at human psychology.
You see, scammers are experts at exploiting trust. They often go after tight-knit communities, churches, neighborhoods, family groups. They get the first few members to share these glowing testimonials, creating social proof long before anyone's actually made any real money. And then, when it all falls apart, they use shame and embarrassment to keep the victims from speaking up.
And this creates this incredibly powerful psychological trap.
These schemes are sold as an opportunity, right? A test of your ambition. So when members fail, which is inevitable, they're manipulated into blaming themselves. They think, oh, I just didn't work hard enough, instead of realizing the system was rigged to fail from the very beginning.
Okay, so this brings us to the most critical part of this entire explainer, how you can actually spot these red flags and protect yourself and the people you care about.
First, be really wary of any high-pressure tactics, anyone telling you have to act now or you'll miss out. Second, be deeply skeptical of promises of huge, guaranteed returns. And finally, and this is a big one, remember that a legitimate job should not make you pay for the privilege of working. If you have to pay a big fee just for the opportunity, that is a massive, massive red flag.
In the end, what pyramid schemes are really selling is the promise of opportunity. But they don't just steal your money. They destroy friendships, they shatter trust within communities, and they prey on hope itself. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. What is the real cost when a system is designed from the ground up to turn its biggest believers into its biggest victims?